What's up, everybody, and welcome to Wrestlemania Wednesday. Yes, this is a new thing I'm going to do every week. I own WrestleManias 1 through 10 on DVD, and 20, 21, 20, and 22, and 23 all on DVD. So, I have a while. So WrestleMania Wednesday here for the time being. I'm reviewing WrestleMania 20. Good one to start out with. I could have started out with WrestleMania 1, but it's kind of off. Plus, I still have to kind of complete a review for it. And the thing's so dang long. It feels like it's 5 hours when it's like 3.5. So, anyway, you could, after the intro and whatever, after the boys choir of Harlem sings America Beautiful, and they do the pyro, you have John Cena coming out for the opening contest, and he gives an in-ring promo / rap because it was basic economics John Cena back then, word life John Cena back then. And then you have his opponent, The Big Show, coming out. So, you have John Cena versus The Big Show for the WWE United States title. If you've played WWE 2K14, you know who wins. I know who wins. And what was an impressive victory by way of help with the steel chain, the padlock, and, which, weirdly enough, I just happen to have a padlock on a chain, no brand or anything, just a padlock on a chain that I just like saying, hey, I like it because John Cena used to use the padlock on a chain, in my office, because it's pretty cool. By that, he goes to say, I'm going to hit Big Show with it, knowing he's going to get disqualified. Referee's like, no, you can't do it. So he takes it off and then chucks it in over the ring, grabs one of it because he wore a brass knuck type things to the ring. They said word life and in the American flag with Benoit behind him. Anyway, watch the match and you'll see. And he clocks the Big Show, put it in his pocket, hits Big Show, bounces off rope, hits the FU. John Cena winning his first WWE title and leading what was then, I believe, it was still the Chain Gang to the first title of many. Him picking up the first title, winning the United States title at WrestleMania 20. And then you have Jonathan Coachman, the coach, Eric Bischoff, and Johnny Nitro backstage. Bischoff, coach comes in the room, hey, boss, you want to see me? And says hi to Nitro and whatever. That was basically it. Then you had Bischoff saying, well, I heard that the Undertaker is here tonight. And then coach was like, well, sir, the Undertaker's SmackDown superstar. Well, I want you to go search for him and blah, blah, blah. It's only a couple segments because it probably got really lame. So that was that entire segment. Then you cut back to Evolution, Randy Orton, Dave Bautista, and Ric Flair. I forgot to mention that this WrestleMania, unlike WrestleMania 30, was held at Madison Square Garden, the showcase of the Immortals, the home of WrestleMania 1, 10, and 20, but not WrestleMania 30. Yeah. Don't think I'm still pissed. Don't think I'm not pissed about that. I mean, you did it at 1, 10, 20. Why not 30? Damn it. Well, probably good you had freaking WrestleMania in New Jersey the year before. Damn it. Whatever. Drop it. Anyway, you have the whole point of this is because Randy Orton, Evolution's facing the Rock and Sock Connection tonight, and Randy Orton's just like, I took you out here, I did this and blah, blah, blah. That was the entire point. It was an awesome promo. Go back and watch it. Then you had the first of I believe it was 7 tag team title matches. The first of 7 title matches, there we go, that we had this evening. This was a fatal 4-way, sudden death rules. Anybody could take in anybody. It was La Resistance versus Garrison Cade and La Resistance with Mark Conway And Rene Dupree, by the way, sorry about the cough, versus Garrison Cade and Mark Jindrak versus the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, and versus the champions RVD and Booker T for the World Tag Team titles, the Raw Tag Team titles. The winner of this match and what they had 25% odds were the World Tag Team Champions Rob Van Dam and Booker T. Then you had Coach backstage looking for the Undertaker. Then he breaks into this. Then you kind of hear noises. He asked some guy, "Have you ever?" He'd been hearing some strange noises down here. Like, yeah, over there. Yeah, and then it ends up being Bobby the Brain, Mean Gene Okerlund, Mae Young, and the Fabulous Moolah. Weird segment thing that they had back there. And then you cut into the ring, which you have Christian versus Chris Jericho, and what was a rivalry that started over Trish Stratus. Blah blah blah. Christian wins the match due to Stratus elbowing Chris Jericho in the side of the head. Christian wins with the roll-up, and then Stratus is doing what you think is saying, oh, I'm sorry, and ends up slapping Jericho twice, and then Jericho turns into the prettier by Christian. Then once they get to the stage, they give a little kiss, and that Stratus betraying Jericho there for Christian. Then you had Mick Foley, which he had an interview which looked like Renee Young, but I believe it was Lillian Garcia, SmackDown ring announcer now. Apparently she's doing Raw sometimes. Then you have Rock coming in the frame, blah blah blah. Then does all his stuff, and then it's like Foley, if you don't believe it, then he goes, Don Morocco and Supervise, and you had before that you had Hurricane Rosie. Then he opens the big doors, which are hard camera side, and shows Foley all the fans in New York City. Yeah, then you have Evolution coming to the ring, Randy Orton, Batista, and Ric Flair versus The Rock and Sock Connection, what was a somewhat good match, not the best match of the night, but a good match indeed. Evolution picking up the victory by way of Randy Orton RKOing Mick Foley and getting the pinfall. Then after that, you have the Hall of Fame 2004 segment, which the only ones I can really remember were Don Morocco, Bobby the Brain, Jesse the Body Ventura, JYD, Superstar Billy Graham. Yeah. Maybe, and I think one or two more. My memory's a little fuzzy, even though I watched this like yesterday. Then you have the first ever Playboy evening gown match, which was more like we wrestle in our bra and panties. You had Sable and Tori Wilson, who had just been on the cover of Playboy at that time, versus Stacy Keibler and Miss Jackie, which this was an interpromotional match. Sable and Tori Wilson from SmackDown, and Stacy Keibler and Miss Jackie from Raw. The winner of that match ends up being Tori Wilson and Sable. Blah blah. It was an alright match. Then we cut to a promo package that they had obviously done earlier. Sneezy. Had to sneeze. Which was international fans at WrestleMania 20 and man, I guess I just have to sneeze today. They basically interviewed like four fans, 2 pairs of fans or whatever. And then you cut backstage to what was what was Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit segment. Ugh. Now I have to sneeze, but ugh, damn it. Then you had the first ever, and I think only ever, Cruiserweight Open, which really got freaking confusing. Anyway, you had Chavo Guerrero versus Jamie Noble versus Funagi versus Ultimo Dragon versus Rey Mysterio versus Tajiri versus Shannon Moore versus Billy Kidman versus Nunzio versus Kyo. The order of entries were Ultimo Dragon in the match. Ultimo Dragon and Shannon Moore start the match. Shannon Moore is the first out. Chavo Guerrero ends up picking up the victory, picking up the win, winning the entire thing because of elimination by pinning Rey Mysterio with help from Chavo Sr., who was at ringside for Chavo. Then you go not straight in, but basically into Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the referee. Man, this match was so boring. I started watching this pay-per-view before, and I got to this match, and I left it sit there for 2 days and took it out. Anyway, Goldberg picked up the victory again. If you play 2K14, you know that Goldberg picks up the victory in this match. And then Stone Cold stuns them both after Stone Cold stuns Brock after Brock does the whole FU thing. And then stuns Goldberg after sharing a beer. So you gotta know, if Stone Cold shares a beer with you, he's the one that stunned you. Then Mr. McMahon comes out and says, thank you. If there was, without the fans, there would have been no WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Then you move into the WWE Tag Team titles, or the SmackDown Tag Team titles. You had the world's greatest tag team versus the APA versus the Basham Brothers versus Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hotty, the champions. And again, having 25% odds in this match, you had the champions Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi coming out the victory. And then they have a little coming out with the victory. And then they do their little dance and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then you had Jesse the Body Ventura, who was seizing a run for president at that time, and interviewing Donald Trump. Next matchup is Molly Holly versus Victoria for the Women's Championship. If Molly Holly wins, she is the new Divas Women's Champion. If Victoria wins, Molly gets her head shaved. And Victoria lost, Molly gets her head shaved, which she kept for a while. I can't remember how long, but for a while. Then you had the WWE Championship match between Kurt Angle and champion Eddie Guerrero. I can't say it like they do. Damn it. Eddie Guerrero, in what was an awesome back and forth match. Eddie just, undoing his boot because Kurt Angle had been working on the back and the leg all day, undoing his boot to slip it off in order to then roll up small package Kurt Angle to retain the WWE title. Then you had Kane versus the returning Undertaker, which this storyline had been building, I believe it was since Survivor Series or SummerSlam. I might be wrong of the previous year. So yeah, after a buried alive match, Kane burying Undertaker, and then Undertaker returning here and winning the match, returning with Paul Bearer, who was at ringside the entire match, returning to win the match, of course, and to move his streak up to 12-0. And I'm zipping right through this because I'm almost done. Then you had the final match, which was Triple H. You had HBK versus Chris Benoit versus Triple H for the World Heavyweight title. Of the match, Triple Shawn Michaels was bleeding like a stuffed pig. Triple H was bleeding. The only person that wasn't bleeding was Chris Benoit. Thank God for that. Chris Benoit picking up the hard-fought victory, winning the World Heavyweight title for the first time, and I believe it was the only time. And then Eddie Guerrero coming out to celebrate, and then they closed the pay-per-view. Not before they have a WrestleMania 20 recap package, which was, was okay. Of course, they did it post-production for the DVD. Anyway, until next time, guys, this was the first ever WrestleMania Wednesday. Next week will be WrestleMania 21, so expect that review. Again, I love these events. I have a bunch of these DVDs. I have some that I need to show you guys. When my dad gives me the other ones that he bought back to join our collection. Anyway, until next time, guys, remember, I'm HTW1224. I'm a pro wrestling fan, not a fucking universe. Peace out.